Mbappe just broke the Real Madrid locker room. The Frenchman just arrived, but he's already being boycotted by the entire squad. Not long ago, this recording came out where he tries to talk to Bellingham but gets completely ignored. And of course, rumors started flying that nobody on the Spanish team can stand Mbappe's ego. The worst part is that this situation isn't doing any good for Real or the player himself. But stuff like this happening behind the scenes at Real Madrid isn't exactly new. A few years ago, something very similar happened to Vinicius Jr. Before a Champions League game, Benzema called his French teammates and started speaking in his native language, telling them not to pass the ball to Vinny. And of course, he said all this right in front of the Brazilian, knowing he wouldn't understand a word of French. Crazy, right? But the cameras caught everything, and that drama went global. Luckily, Vinny didn't take it personally and even helped Benzema have the best season of his career, winning the Champions League together. But here's the question: will Mbappe do the same, or will the team split because of him? Well, it looks like he's trying to fix things. In a recent game against Getafe, when he had the chance to take a penalty, Mbappe set his ego aside and handed the ball to Rodrigo, but Ancelotti made him take it away. This wasn't Mbappe's only drama in the Spanish locker room. Before joining Real Madrid, he made some comments about how he plays better on the left wing, exactly Vinny's position. And even though he hasn't said anything officially, rumors say he's constantly complaining to his coach behind the scenes about being played as a striker. That's supposedly creating tension in the locker room, which might explain why his teammates are ignoring him. But things got even worse for him because during the Brazilian's recent injury, he had the chance to play on the left wing and completely disappeared on the field. But no one at Real Madrid can really complain about Mbappe's behavior because when they signed him, he already had a history of controversies and fights with teammates. He basically kicked Neymar out of Paris Saint-Germain. When Neymar joined PSG, he was supposed to be the star of the team, with everything built around him to help him shine. But after Mbappe made it to his second consecutive World Cup final, despite losing to Argentina, he came back with massive credibility and started taking the spotlight away from Neymar and Messi. The first clash was over who'd be the official penalty taker, and Mbappe ended up winning that battle. Around the same time, he tried to take the captain's armband from Marquinhos, which split the French squad in two. Some players supported Marquinhos while others backed Mbappe, and the locker room turned toxic. And in the end, he pushed PSG to sell Neymar to Saudi Arabia for less than half of what they paid for him, simply because he and Mbappe couldn't stand being in the same room anymore. All that just for him to end up at Real Madrid. But let's be real, Neymar isn't exactly innocent either. When he arrived at Paris Saint-Germain, the team's star was Cavani. Well, was, because as soon as Neymar landed in France with his face plastered on the Eiffel Tower, he started calling the shots. The Brazilian pulled the same move as Mbappe. He took over as the club's official penalty taker, even stopping Cavani from taking a penalty that would have made him PSG's all-time top scorer. And in the end, their behind-the-scenes clashes got so bad that the most prolific striker in the history of the French club was simply let go. Before Neymar even joined PSG, he pulled something even worse at Barcelona. During a practice session, he nutmegged the fullback Semedo, and to get even, Semedo hit Neymar hard a few minutes later. Well, that sparked a huge fight, and Neymar ended up walking out of training altogether. What about Cristiano Ronaldo? He pretty much forced a United legend out of the club. Back in 2006, Cristiano went through one of the toughest times in his life when he lost his father. Luckily, some of the coaching staff, especially a guy named Carlos Queiroz, encouraged Ronaldo to focus on football and let it be his escape. That advice worked because Cristiano started tearing it up on the field. But at the time, there was another big star at United. Van Nistelrooy was the man, the main scorer and face of the team. As Cristiano began to shine, things got ugly between the two. It got so bad that Van insulted Cristiano and even made a cruel comment about his late father, which made the Portuguese player leave training in tears. Because of this behavior, Van was sold so Cristiano could thrive in peace. One of those clashes completely changed Ronaldo's life. During a training session, Cristiano was trying every dribble imaginable, trying to impress the journalists and fans watching. Van Nistelrooy wasn't having it. With all the press looking on, he called Cristiano out, saying he was just a kid and should focus on scoring goals instead of showboating. At least on that, he had a point. Once Cristiano took that advice, he became the best in the world. But one of the best stories is the fight between Cristiano Ronaldo and Ryan Giggs. Believe it or not, Cristiano once got into a fight over soda. When he was younger, he had a habit of drinking soda for breakfast. When Giggs, one of the team captains, found out, he grabbed the soda off Cristiano's table and smashed it against the wall, telling him to never drink that stuff again. You can imagine how embarrassed Ronaldo must have been, but he got his revenge by scoring 3 goals in the next game and telling Giggs afterward that he could drink whatever he wanted. Their relationship was never quite the same after that, but over time, Ronaldo probably realized why Giggs did what he did. But this right here is the biggest betrayal in football. Icardi played on the same team as Maxi Lopez, a player he looked up to as his idol and best friend. The two were teammates at Sampdoria and even went on vacation together. But shortly after that, Icardi started a relationship with his best friend's wife, Wanda Nara. Of course, when Maxi found out, he filed for divorce, and Wanda ended up marrying Icardi. Just imagine. Your best friend gets with your wife and even posts pictures with your kids. After that, Icardi was sold to Inter Milan to improve the locker room atmosphere at Sampdoria. Needless to say, the two never got along again. In fact, this is what happened whenever they crossed paths. Another story from Italian football involves Cristiano Ronaldo. He joined Juventus to help the team finally win the Champions League. But that's when things started falling apart. Even though Cristiano did his part, scoring plenty of goals, the team kept falling short in the competition and even struggled in Serie A at times. After one of these disappointments, Cristiano lost it in the locker room. The funniest part? Cuadrado tried to calm him down, but there was no stopping it. Everyone had to sit through a massive rant from the Portuguese star.
Pero no chocamos niente. Tenemos que decir la verdad. Por eso, pero tenemos que jugar en esta partida de Champions.
It's even worse when teammates fight live during a game. That's exactly what happened with Pepe and Mamadou Lom. Pepe, the captain of Porto, spent the whole match motivating his teammates. But apparently, Lom didn't like something he said. At the end of the game, Pepe went to shake his hand, but Lom responded with a complaint. And that was all it took for the fight to break out. If the referee hadn't stepped in, things could have gotten really ugly. But that's nothing compared to what happened in Brazil. In this game, a striker and a defender from the same team got into an argument on the field. At first, it seemed like a normal disagreement. They argued, got separated, and that was that. But then, the striker scored the winning goal and decided to get revenge by making a not-so-friendly gesture toward his teammate. But in England, things escalated even further. Salah, Mane, and Klopp were constantly clashing, which ultimately led to the coach leaving Liverpool. The first major incident happened in 2019 when Mane got visibly angry in front of the entire stadium because Salah wasn't passing him the ball. We don't know if there was already tension between them before that, but what's clear is that this was the breaking point. Mane was subbed off early in the second half, and he wasn't shy about his frustration. He publicly admitted that he was upset about not getting the ball, and even criticized Klopp for it. He also pointed out how teams like Manchester City scored 4 or 5 goals against opponents, questioning why Liverpool couldn't do the same. Anyway, that situation eventually passed, but for Salah, it didn't feel resolved. Later on, when Salah was subbed off in the middle of a game, he did something even worse. He started arguing with Klopp right on the sideline and had to be pulled away by his teammates. After the match, he refused to give interviews, only saying, "If I talk today, it'll set everything on fire." In the end, Klopp decided to leave Liverpool, tired of dealing with all this drama. Now, this player actually got a red card for what he did to his teammate. The trouble started when the goalkeeper criticized one of his defenders for a mistake in the back line. But the defender didn't take it well and went after him. And here's the wild part. The goalkeeper pretended to be fouled by his own teammate. It worked too, because the defender got sent off. But we have to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo and the Portuguese national team. Just look at what he did when Cancelo passed him a bad ball. And that's just the beginning, because what he did to Nani was considered unacceptable by many. Cristiano was about to score a stunning goal when Nani stole it from him right on the goal line. Ronaldo was so furious he threw his captain's armband on the ground. As far as I know, it didn't cause any internal issues within the team. But that's just the start. Click on the video popping up on your screen right now to see all of Cristiano Ronaldo's most furious moments.